Alright guys, today we are in the kitchen and we are making pork bulgogi Korean barbecue style. Now if you've been on the internet or you know any Asian friends, you should have probably heard of Korean barbecue. It is blowing up. I'm not Korean, but it's amazing. I've tasted it. I love it. I've only gone twice in my life and I think it's pretty up there on my list of favorite foods. It's not number one, but it's up there. And so I decided, why not make this at home? You know, you can get the ingredients. Probably it's much cheaper. It is much cheaper and it will taste possibly a lot better if you can spice it up yourself. So I went online and I watched a lot of videos on how this can be done. And there's a lot of variations, but the central tenets of it is, first off, you need raw pork bulgogi, which you can buy oftentimes on sale for fairly cheap, maybe $2 or $3 a pound, maybe $1 a pound. And you need some central things: sugar, garlic, sesame oil, and soy sauce, which I have all here for you. And obviously there's a lot of variations where you can add more stuff. One of those variations is adding Pepsi, Coca-Cola, or some type of store brand cola, whatever have you, some type of soda into the product in place of or in addition to soda. In addition to sugar. And the point of that is, an extra kick to it, special ingredient, and more sugar into the final components of the whole thing. So you can add that. It's kind of like a Korean, it's a very common Korean thing. I'm seeing a lot of Korean moms on the internet using it, but it's not necessary. I didn't use it. I try to minimize the sugar I use for health reasons. And in addition to that, you can add other stuff if you do have them to make it even better, such as red onions, white onions, both. And you can also add black pepper, which I do. And if you want to add a little bit of spiciness to it, which I didn't want to, but I wanted to just try it out, so I added a tiny bit of red pepper oil. And that's like the common thing you can add: red pepper oil. And that's pretty much it. And so obviously there's different variations of this, and I just stuck to what I had available and the core tenets, and this is my first time doing it. So the process is fairly simple, and I will show you that. But basically you just add certain proportions of all these. It's kind of like chemistry. You just add, cooking is pretty much chemistry, but a cool kind of chemistry. You add certain proportions of all these things I listed, and then you mix it in a bowl, and then you throw in the raw meat, thinly sliced, and just mix it together, marinate it, and put it in the fridge for like 2 or 3 hours at least. And then you take it out, throw it on the frying pan, and you're good to go. So here we go. So this is the pork bulgogi after I have mixed everything into the liquid. I have the pork bulgogi here. I just took some of it out. It was already thinly sliced, and I just put it in here and I mixed it all about with the liquid. And now all you have to do is marinate this for a few hours, at least 2 or 3, and then we just throw it on a frying pan. So I made sure I mixed it really well so that it, you get both sides. I flipped it over a few times, and yeah, I'm just going to marinate it, and then once that's done, I'm going to wrap it, put it in the fridge, and then a few hours later, we'll throw it on the frying pan and see how it tastes. Alright, so we have the meat marinated. All we have to do now is simply 1, 2, 3, put the meat on the stove, which is on, make sure it's cooked, top it here, and make sure making sure it's cooked is probably the toughest part. It's not that difficult, but I like to give it at least 10 seconds after it turns from red to brown. It's fully cooked before you take it out. I've had problems in a lot of my cooking where it's not fully cooked. Color, I like to give it at least 5 or 10 seconds. Not too long till it gets so stiff that you can't eat it, but long enough that it's definitely fully cooked. And then again, Make sure both sides are cooked, so flip everything over well. And then once that's done, you just put it on here. Pretty self-explanatory. Nothing over the top. Alright, so one more time, you have the raw marinated meat after 2 or 3 hours of marination. You throw it onto the frying pan, and then you just flip it over and make sure it's fully cooked and not raw, and you just pop it on here. Alright guys, so I'm gonna do a quick taste test of this now. I'm really kind of not concerned, but I really don't know how this would turn out at all, because I kind of just ballparked the proportions for the different ingredients. I think they're right, but again, after watching numerous videos, you realize that some of these proportions vary tremendously based on the video. So some videos say put twice as much sesame seed oil as soy sauce, and other videos say the exact opposite, put twice as much soy sauce in response to sesame seed oil. So anyhow, who cares? Let's just try it out. It looks pretty good, smells pretty good. I can see bits of garlic in there, so I'm gonna try it out real quick. So here are my thoughts on this. I think I cooked it pretty well. It's very tender, very easy to chew, which I think is good. I learned from cooking the beef bulgogi that if you leave it on there for too long, and for beef bulgogi, that could be as short as 10 seconds. If you leave it on there too long, it gets very hard and stiff and tough to chew. What it tastes like, it pretty much tastes like pretty much everything else I've tasted before in terms of this concoction of sauce. There's a huge hint of soy sauce, a big hint of sesame oil, not as much, and you can definitely taste the garlic. So it's a definite, I guess you can call it sesame soy sauce taste. Let me just taste it again. It's very tender. Again, very, very tender, very easily chewable. The flavor, again, it's more subtle than I thought it'd be. It's not like boom in your mouth. It's very subtle. I don't detect any spiciness. Again, I didn't add much of the spicy pepper oil. And the flavors, it's not exceptionally subtle, but it is more subtle than I thought. I thought it'd be more flavorful, but there's definitely a distinct flavor there. And I'm kind of surprised that the flavor is just very sharp, and it's kind of one-dimensional. Maybe two-dimensional. It's, again, a lot of soy sauce, bit of sesame seed oil, and again, I didn't add much sugar, so there's not much of that. And you can detect a faint hint of garlic. So it's a very basic recipe. I'm a little worried that I undercooked it and I might get salmonella or something. But again, it's very, very easily chewable. And it tastes pretty good. And this can go very well with rice or anything else. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hey everyone, so I'm making this video in order to inspire and educate and motivate you guys. So if you do nothing else, I really hope you take some sort of action from something you learned in this video. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be jam-packed with stuff. So, you know, I've been